I just spoke to President Trump again this morning, and we have agreed that both Canada and the United States will temporarily restrict all non-essential travel across the Canada-U.S. border. Travelers will no longer be permitted to cross the border for recreation and tourism. In both our countries, we're encouraging people to stay home. We're telling our citizens not to visit their neighbours if they don't absolutely have to. Well, this collaborative and reciprocal measure is an extension of that prudent approach. I want to be clear, though, that essential travel will continue. Our governments recognize that it is critical that we preserve supply chains between both countries. These supply chains ensure that food, fuel, and life-saving medicines reach people on both sides of the border. Supply chains, including trucking, will not be affected by this new measure. Canadians and Americans cross the border every day to do essential work or for other urgent reasons. That will not be impacted.
What assurances do you have from President Trump that if this pandemic gets worse, he will not close the borders, crippling trade and necessary shipments in Canada? And also, how long do you expect this temporary closure to last? Will it be weeks? Are you planning for months?
We talked about exactly that this morning, President Trump and I, to ensure that indeed our economies and our people that are so interconnected in so many different ways will be able to ensure the smooth flow of goods and essential materials and medication across the border. That is something that we remain committed to. We will work in close collaboration on an ongoing basis to make sure that that continues. And these measures will last in place as long as we feel that they need to last. We will, again, closely coordinate on that as well.
Prime Minister, yesterday you talked about the possibility of invoking the Emergencies Act. Today you're saying that the Canada-U.S. border will be closed to non-essential travel. How close are you at this point to imposing restrictions across Canada? And specifically, are you considering limiting travel within Canada as well?
I have said time and time again that we are looking at all options. We're not taking any options off the table. Every day we've been announcing new measures that we've been able to move forward on, and we will continue to look at measures as they become necessary and the tools that exist to make those measures necessary. I will highlight, of course, that the Emergency Measures Act is a significant step, not one that we feel we need today, but not one that we are closing the door to in the future if necessary. We recognize that we took some significant steps over the past few days. We closed the borders to overseas travel on Monday, and today, 2 days later, we announce that we are restricting non-essential travel between Canada and the United States. This is something that we've been coordinating with the United States on over the past days. Yesterday, Deputy Prime Minister Freeland reached out to Vice President Pence to really advance these negotiations, and we're able to announce it in a coordinated fashion on both sides of the border this morning. This is something that we need to move forward on to protect Canadians.